Hi friends, and welcome back to another episode of This is for the Soul, and I'm your lovely host, Brianna Sade. On this podcast, we talk about all things mental health, girl talk, spirituality, personal development, you name it, we gonna talk about it. So for today's episode, obviously it is going to be filmed in the future, but in honor of our past 420 Easter, I'm going to be talking about my relationship with the Mary Jane. Weed, ganja, whatever you want to call it. My journey with tending to my garden, as they would say on TikTok. I started smoking when I was about 16, but it wasn't until college that it really became a real thing for me, because at that time in my life there was a lot of things going on. I started college during the pandemic, campus had shut down, I'm newly into my 20s, and everything's just changing. So yeah, I dibbled and dabbled. But funny enough, when I did get home for quarantine, I reconnected with an old friend from middle school, and she actually became my first smoking buddy. And she put me on game to a lot of stuff. I wouldn't say she was a bad influence, but she was the first person to actually introduce me to different things when it came to smoking. Once I got back on campus and into the college lifestyle, that's when I learned how to roll up. Once I learned how to roll up, it was up. And that's what they always say, if you don't want smoking to become a habit, don't learn how to roll up because it's going to become a habit, because you know how to do it now. You don't need anybody else to do it, and you can just do it whenever you feel like it. And that was me. The weed found me. Even when I was in my broke college student era, I was still getting high as shit. But at first I was low-key about it, especially when I was home and around my family. But eventually I realized they didn't really care. And two, I'm an adult now. So my mom, she was chill about it, and my grandmother, grandmothers. I am an observer, especially when it comes to my mind and my mental. And over time, I did start noticing patterns. I've been smoking for a long time, and I'd go through phases where I would unintentionally have to take a tea break or stop. And was it a little difficult? Of course. Tea breaks are not fun and they're not easy all the time. But I'm able to notice when my body actually needs a pause or a break. And those breaks have given me clarity. And like I said, I am one to work on myself a lot. So within those periods of time, one thing that I do live by as a platinum gardener is smoke that tree, but don't let that tree smoke you. I'm not the dependability type. I don't need weed to smoke, eat, sleep. I realize that I don't need it. I just enjoy it, which means that I have to be intentional with it. Because just like with anything in our lives, too much of something can become detrimental. There have been times where I have definitely abused it, not gonna lie, smoking just to smoke out of boredom or to avoid things that I know that I really need to do. That's why people get stuck on weed bad, because a lot of people are not ready to actually address their problems or their issues. And when I found myself doing that, that's when I knew that it was time for me to get out that journal, take a break, and reconnect with myself and figure out why, what's going on. And I didn't have the desire to quit. I just had the desire to stop. And once I did, I wanted to still smoke. But I actually did have a whole 30-day plan break after 420. But I only lasted a week, okay? And a week is something. I've taken longer breaks, of course. But even in that little 7-day frame, I gained insight. I'm not in a place where I need to stop, but I am in a place where I do need to be more aware of how much I smoke and why I am smoking. Again, going back to being intentional. That, my friend, is growth. Weed is a spiritual herb, and I've channeled some of my most clearest thoughts and aligned messages while I was high. And everybody is different. And I hate is a strong word, but I strongly dislike people who will demonize it because their experience might not have been the same as someone else who does it. Like, if you don't smoke, it's okay to not smoke, but that doesn't mean you need to judge other people who do. Like anything spiritual, any relationship in our lives, there needs to be boundaries, because if you cannot put something down, then that's what you need to ask yourself. Am I in control of it, or is it in control of me? And if the answer is option B, then that's when you realize you have a problem. But if you are someone who does smoke but also want to stay grounded and intentional, here are a few things that you can reflect and sit with. I have a couple of tips that I would like to share with you. So the first one is treat your habits like relationships. Romanticize them enough to set boundaries with them. And when you do that, that's when you discover real love, because you understand that I might enjoy this, but at the same time, I need to do what's best for me. And if that means putting it to the side, then that's what that means. And everybody's path, everybody's experience, everybody's journey is different. The second thing is listen to your body and listen to your spirit. Your body is your temple. You need to listen to your intuition. You need to listen to what spirit is trying to tell you. And if you're not hearing the message, spirit is going to make sure that you hear the message one way or another. So before anything gets worse, or before you fuck around and find out, listen to those signs that your body is telling you, so that way you are aware and you know what you need to do and what you don't need to do, what you need to cut back on, what you need to place those boundaries with. If you're feeling foggy, disconnected, unmotivated, check in with yourself, because it might not be the weed. It might just be something that you're avoiding. It might just be something that's internally within you. And the last thing is, don't let the guilt cloud your growth. You can honor the parts of your journey that involve weed without shaming yourself, because this is your life. And if you're evolving, and that's okay. Whatever part of your journey you're on doesn't mean that you need to shame others for where they're at. So just be gentle with yourself and others. Don't judge yourself. Don't shame yourself. And if you do want to stop and you do want to quit, you just have to change your mindset. And remember that things are not going to happen overnight. But all right, friends, thank you so much for tapping into this episode of This Is For The Soul. If this message resonated with you, if this was something that you needed to hear, go ahead, share it with a friend, journal about it, take a break, do whatever it is that you need to do and what your spirit is calling you to do. Okay? Make sure that you guys subscribe to my Substack if you haven't already, so that way you can be up to date on the weekly newsletter, Soul Sage and Tarot. I drop a newsletter every Monday along with a new podcast episode. And also go ahead and follow me on TikTok at Soul Sage and Tarot, where I do readings and have more soul talk and intuitive download. Till next time, take care of yourself, take care of your soul, nurture your body, your mind, your spirit, and I will talk to you next episode. Bye. Mwah.